I like it. Okay, and now I want to introduce Harrison Snow, my husband, who you've seen before, even up here. Last time I talked a little bit about Harrison's lifetime of meditation and spiritual seeking. He studied meditation and taught meditation for many years, some of that while he was in the Army. He's done lots of therapy because he realized he needed to balance that out. And anyway, he's an author and international consulting, all that stuff. I already told you that. That's old news. And some of you may know this side of Harrison too. He loves snow. When he sees a few flakes of snow, he gets so happy. He starts kind of dancing around. And until there's enough to ski on, he'll make a cup of hot chocolate and wait for it. He loves nature, backpacking. He is now off and on section hiking the Appalachian Trail, and this is part of his spiritual seeking, spiritual awareness, as I know many of you can relate to. Maybe not the backpacking part, but the nature part. So I would like to introduce Harrison Snow.
All right. Oh, wow. Thank you, Stephanie, my lovely wife of 30 years, going on strong. And, we got married when you were 8, right? Arranged marriage. No. Yeah, 42. Oldest pregnant bride in the universe. So wonderful to be here, exciting to be here, grateful to be here. Thank you for being here. It's a wonderful gift just to be in this beloved community, and give yourselves a round of applause. What a beautiful, beloved community you are. I'm getting to look at you and take it all in. And let's take it one step further, right? Let's take some action behind that love. Turn to someone, find someone, turn to them, look around, find someone, and say, "You are looking good." You are looking good. And you could say to someone else, "You are a beloved child of the universe." Yeah, so true. So true. Everyone here, feel the truth of that. You are a beloved child of the universe. Feel the truth of that and let it sink in, because how many places do we go and hear that we're not, right? How many messages from ever that tell you you're not, but that's not true. That's not true. And if we sit with it just for a minute, and in this beloved community, let the truth strengthen and feel the strength and the renewal and the hope that brings. The source of love, not just out there, it's in here. And nobody can take it from us. Nobody can take it. It is you. It is who you truly are and have always been. And that's just the way it is. So now that we've established that fact, now that we're there in that truth, let's explore something else. We were talking about the descent of love, was one of the themes here. And I don't know about you, but as a kid, I was always told by my mother and raised on turn the other cheek. Can you remember that one? Turn the other cheek. I got that one full bore. Remember the one, someone makes you carry a load, carry it 2 miles instead of a mile, that one. Rise above, don't resist evil, rise above it, go below it, whatever. Do you remember those injunctions? I do. I was raised on that. How well did that work out for you? Well, as a kid, it didn't work out so well because I didn't have, I think, healthy boundaries that said, hey, no, I don't like that, stop that, or whatever, that I needed to manage more skillfully my interactions with people who didn't get raised on that. But that is actually something that has me pondering, well, what was that really all about? If it didn't work out so well, Why was this such a big part of our religion? And it's not just in Christianity, it's in Buddhism. We just had a beautiful song, lovely song, thank you, Lynn, about may you be well and may you be happy. And in the Buddhist tradition, if someone's oppressing you, you should have compassion for them. Great story about a monk, Tibetan monk, who was imprisoned by the Red Chinese for many years, treated very badly, managed finally to be either escape or be freed and go to Dalai Lama in India and be with the Dalai Lama. And they asked him when he arrived, just in terrible shape, terrible, barely alive, when he got there, what was the worst moment for you in all the years you were in prison and being treated so badly? And he thought and thought, and they thought it was going to be some terrible story of abuse. And he said, well, there was a time when I almost lost my compassion. Almost lose your compassion and you're being tortured for years? Now that's mind-boggling. He still had hung on to his heart compassion for people who were treating him badly. So what about us? What about us? We were raised, a lot of you were raised with it. There are many examples of that, turning the other cheek or having compassion in those situations. What's that about? Why is that a good thing? Well, let me just digress real quickly, and we'll go another direction, and then we'll come back. So stay with me. I'm going to turn the wheel and talk about, a survival mode. What is survival mode? In our brainstem, there are automatic programs that when we perceive a threat, emotional, physical, whatever, financial, we go into, and this is human survival that got wired over many, many, many years. We go into an automatic reaction mode: fight, flight, freeze, faint, forget, or fawn. And fawn in terms of flattery and you're so great and I'm not. Of reaction modes that help us survive. Now, has anyone ever been in reaction mode? Yeah. How well did that work out? Actually, it's not a very intelligent mode, right? It's about survival, and we're running fast or we're fighting hard, but we're not using the frontal lobes. We're not using our wisdom, and we're definitely not using our heart. Everything's closed down, contracted, just on surviving. So generally, it doesn't help the situation, and it kind of makes it worse because we're in panic mode. And we'll do the exact opposite of what we need to get a good outcome. So given this tendency, how do we manage our thought process so that we choose differently? Well, it turns out all our actions can get validated by the feelings. The feelings come from the thoughts and beliefs that get triggered by things in the environment. But there's actually thoughts and beliefs there that we don't even know are there. In other words, we go into survival mode based on thoughts and feelings and beliefs that are hidden from us, that we've forgotten, that are old beliefs or stories that we are not aware of, and so we don't question. So guess what? We're not in current time. We're in the time when those adversities, those beliefs were planted in us or stuck in us. So we're not in current time, and then we go into all kinds of thoughts and beliefs and actions based in feelings and actions that lead to, again, not a good outcome. So what do we do with that? How do we avoid all those missteps? Well, let's go back to the turn the other cheek. Let's go back to having compassion for those who are not acting very compassionately towards us. And think a little bit. If I can stop myself, put on the brakes, say, wait a minute, where's my reactivity coming from? Is there really a big threat out there? Or is this some kind of story that my mind is automatically dreaming up, but it's not the actual reality? If I can stop myself, I could step out of, and here's the archetype, I can step out of the archetype of victim persecutor. Because right now I've got them as the persecutor and me as the victim, and the victim does what? Is helpless, has to panic, and run around in circles and not do much good. But if I step out of that, I don't need to go into persecutor mode or look for a rescuer. I step out of that. Where do I step into? Power of awareness. I step into my true self. And then I have what? I have my wisdom and I have my heart. And really, when we're not a victim, we are invincible. There's no place for that stuff to land. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of this. A long time ago, I was on a fun trip to a conference in Singapore, and I took a little time to go to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, which was next door, and explore around. And I ended up taking a side trip to some little island off the coast of Malaysia that was a tourist place. And so it was quite an adventure to get there. And I was there on the island walking around looking for a lodging. You know, you couldn't call ahead. There was no connectivity to call ahead. And I ran into a group of British tourists, people my age. And, I was chatting and laughing, and we were talking about the boat ride and how crazy that was, and had a good time talking, just apropos of nothing. And then there was some expat American who was part of that group, somehow didn't like my presence and came up out of nowhere and started making snide comments about Americans. And he was American, he just had a fake British accent, but and it was just weird. All of a sudden here's this guy coming up and being kind of a jerk. So I could have gone into fight, faint, freeze, fawn, whatever. But I was so taken back, there was a big question mark. What in the world's going on here? And I looked at him. I stopped and breathed and looked at him, really looked at him. And it just came to me. I didn't think about anything. I was just fully present with him. I said, "Were you bullied as a kid and excluded?" I just, I was saying it in a compassionate way, not mean, but just, wow. And I could have knocked him over with a feather. He just went, and he didn't say anything. I asked once or twice, but all of a sudden his whole demeanor changed, and all of a sudden he was very friendly. And also, the conversation, everything shifted. It was no longer victim persecutor dynamic. There was something, awareness had been brought to the situation, and the story behind the story was starting to be revealed. That was driving this behavior. So there was I could have some compassion for him. We've all been felt bullied at some time or excluded at some time. And he was reenacting, trying to reenact that in some way. But I was lucky because I was taken back. There are other times when I wasn't present. I went into my, reaction mode and started saying things. And the person, just responded, with more vehemence, and we were kind of locking horns. And I'm missing what when I do that? We're missing the opportunity. Missing the opportunity for our soul to grow. To bring more light in the world and be that light and be that love. We're missing the opportunity to learn more about ourselves and other people. And, that's a shame. It's a shame because I've done that many times where I go into my judgments instead of my curiosity. Right? So I'm curious. Anybody here had that moment where instead of going into judgment, you went into curiosity and something opened up that it turned out to be an opportunity instead of a detriment? Anybody had that? Anybody? Nobody? Somebody? All right, Dean, you raised your hand. You want to come up and tell us? No, oh, darn. I need somebody to come up and tell us, to share, because it's such a powerful thing, and it makes such a difference. And it changes not only your life, it changes the people that you're with. And you all, if you're here in this group, you are a peacemaker. Yes. Okay, Nancy, come on up. Fantastic. Round of applause for Nancy. Hey, Nancy. Please tell us.
I was remembering a time when someone didn't pay me. I'm a speech therapist, and they didn't pay me for my services. So I kept calling her and saying, I'm really waiting for this to happen. I'm waiting for this to happen. You can take your time, but please pay me. And of course she didn't. So I ended up going to court. And I found out that she was bankrupt. She was declared bankruptcy. So I gave up. And I said, okay. So it was Thanksgiving. I went out and bought a turkey and put it on our door. And I felt so much better.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. That's beautiful. Thank you. Well, anyone else? One more. That was very inspiring. Okay, wonderful. Terry, our president, board president, leading by example.
Well, I'll tell you, Harrison, what that brought up for me. You just gave me a little spark of hope. I have friends who are saying the political situation is so bad that we need to play dirty. And I hate to hear that. And you just reminded me there's always a way. There's always, if you release that, there's always a way that something can be revealed that can make the situation better if I have faith in that. So thanks for that.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Terry. There's always an opportunity. Well, let me up the ante a little bit, since you guys are game, right? You're true spiritual beings here. Anyone had a situation where family members that has been a strain most of your life? Any of that? I've had it. So how do we handle that if we've been in feels like a kind of victim persecutor relationship? As long as we can remember with a sibling, for example. Well, I had one recently, and I was giving this talk, and I said, okay, I better put my money where my big mouth is going to be, because I am going to be in that person's neighborhood, and they've been in the hospital recently, and there's no reason I can't call them up and say, let me, come by and see how you're doing. No reason, even though we haven't done that in years. And I could come up with a list of reasons why I don't want to go by and visit. So I decided to do that. But before I went, hey, we're metaphysicians here. So I treated. And as I did this, one of the things that came to me is I brought awareness to it. Presence, awareness, openness. Let the heart open. Let the wisdom of the heart open. Was, wow, this is not just me and this sibling, this other person. This is in the family field. This kind of dynamic has shown up for my other siblings, probably my parents, probably my grandparents, not necessarily with this person, but with other people. Something is going on systemically that keeps getting replicated. And I'm just part of that system because I'm holding on to being a victim. I'm holding on to that dynamic, right? I'm part of it too, as long as I hold on to it. Now, so I treated it, and in treating, I asked for light and love to clear all the shadows, all of those dynamics, and whatever is behind them, some kind of family secret that I don't even know about, or trauma probably behind them. Certainly there was war trauma in our family that led to negative behaviors, probably other traumas too that I didn't, not fully aware of. But so I did that on the drive over, and then I went to visit, and said I'd just be there 10 minutes or whatever just to say hi. So guess what happened? I had a lovely time. I ended up spending an hour We laughed. We looked at some yearbooks from childhood. We had a good conversation. We talked about some of the stuff in the family, and I left feeling really good. Yeah. Yeah. So prayer works, but it also, what shows up in our life may be there so that we can bring light and love and grow ourselves. This is our opportunity for growth, not just for the other person, but for us as well. All right. So anyway, little quick happy ending story. And I'd like to say a prayer right now if you would like to join me. And all right, let's sit comfortably. Most of us are comfortable right now, I can tell. Feet on the floor, breathing, feeling into your body, and feel into your heart. And just let the words I'm going to say flow through you. You don't even have to listen. Just feel into what's happening in you and resonate, vibrate with that. And so that we know, we stand here as a beloved community. We stand true to love. We stand true to light. We stand true to truth, the truth of who we really are. And we open to this light ever deeper. We open to this love, each one of us, ever deeper. And we know whatever adversity may cross our path, whatever challenge may show up, it is there to be loved. It is asking for love, no matter how fear-invoking it may be, no matter how sad or shameful it may feel. It is there for the light of love that we are, that we embrace, that is our true self. And so as we rest in this field of endless, infinite love, and this field of infinite, beautiful light, and this field of warm, embracing, mothering energy, that is our true self, we know at our deepest level, all is well. We know at our deepest level, we are more than enough. We know at our deepest level, we are whole and complete, and we see and affirm the wholeness, completeness of everyone else, all our relations in the universe. May all be well. May all be happy. May all be free and safe. And we wish this and know this for ourselves and for everyone else in the world. Thank you. Amen. So it is.